Yo, what's going on, family? Super excited to be here again with you guys for another YouTube breakdown. In today's breakdown, we're going to be going over how we made a little bit over $5,000 in these NZD trades. We had NZD USD and then NZD CAD. These are two little quick snipes, very similar, but we want to just break down how we made, after commissions and everything, a little bit more than $5,300. Really excited about this one. This was a really interesting one. Just to show you guys that real quick. This was another one where in our Discord, the whole gang was in here eating on these NZD CAD trades, whether it was getting a snipe or getting $5,000 in the bag. This person, 384. We got some snipes here from Fab Money. Mikey Rod caught a nice move. Anam, nice sniper, one lot all the way. Sweet. My man Adrian made $1,500. And so many more people, so on and so forth, right? So in regards to it, guys, you can see that everybody made money with us trading in the Discord, and that's what we want to do when it comes down to it, fam. We want to make sure everybody eats. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and break down this trade for you guys. And when it comes down to what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit the replay tool. I'm going to pull price back down to the range before we started getting into these moves. And I want to just go on and explain this from a top-down breakdown, right? Now, in regards to it from a higher time frame perspective, I was looking at the daily time frame. Now, on the daily time frame, in the sense of structure, we are going to see things more in the sense of waves, right? We're going to see price making waves and trends and stuff like that, and so on and so forth. Now, it doesn't matter what the market's going to look like. In a perfect world, the market is going to look something like this, right? But in reality, sometimes what's going to happen is it's going to look like this and so on and so forth. So what we want to do is we just want to understand how to identify and look at price. So starting off with this, there's a lot of key factors that went into play with this, but first thing off the first is we broke through this major high on the daily. Right after this relative high made a new lower low, right? So on the daily time frame, the higher high that pushed in and made a lower low, that lower low pushed through and made a higher high. So on the daily time frame, we have to have the understanding that price is moving up, right? So we have a pro trend overall directional bias. Now what we're going to do is we're going to scale into the lower time frame, medium time frames, aka H4, and then we can start analyzing price a little bit more in depth. We have the high, lower low, lower high, lower lows, so on and so forth in regards to this. Now, this is a very aggressive move in one direction, which is 100% fine. Then we can scale in a little bit more. And as we start scaling in a little bit more, we can start really seeing what price is looking like, right? Now, down in these levels, what we see is we see a little bit more structural points. We see a low, a high, a low, a high. We see a low, a high, and then we see a low. Then we find our exact key range of where price change directions, pretty much right there. Now, when we see that area where price change directions, all you got to really understand is that from that high to this low, what should happen is price should pull back and it should go lower. But the moment that it doesn't do that, and what happens is price actually breaks this high, we know that it's a change of direction, and now we have to shift our bias to start looking for more bullish type sentiments. So when it comes down to it, now that we understand where price is at and we see it's bullish, we're breaking through all these highs, we come into the key range and where we're currently at, right? We come into our current structural range, which is this swing low. I'm just do this in orange to this swing high, right? This is our structure. Really what that means is we're trading inside of a very specific range, and that range is from this low up into this high. And what we're going to do is we're going to just box it up. Now that we've boxed it up, now we can just start fine-tuning our idea, right? Now, what we noticed was we saw this 4-hour candle here, right? This 4-hour candle was our optimal area of interest when it comes down to the trade. We also know that this market is very overbought. So we have premium pricing and then we have discount pricing. In the sense of what we want to do, we always want to only look to take a buying position somewhere in the discounted pricing, right? In regards of supply and demand, you have supply, you have demand, and then you have the median or the equilibrium, right? So in regards to just basic economics, you want to sell discounts and you want to buy you want to sell premiums and you want to buy discounts, right? What does that really mean? It means that when you find a move in the market, if this is the starting line and this is the finish line, if you find a move in the market, what your goal is going to be as a trader is going to try to be buying when the market dips down into this discounted pricing. Now, this is a big range of an area of where to buy. So what we do is we use all of our other tips and tricks to analyze and find a specific range and where we actually want to look to take a position. So we really like taking trades within the 61 to 88.6 range on the fib. In this purple zone. So when it comes down to it, that was one piece of the pie, right? So now what we did is we created a higher time frame area of interest, right? And then what we did is we started scaling down to the lower time frames, and we watched as price started to trade up into these areas, right? Cool. Now, when it comes down to it, what we did was in this specific range, we had other confluences as well. When trading London session, what I really like to do is I like to take advantage of this Asian range. And when it comes down to this Asian range, what I enjoy doing is just marking it out. And once we have it fully marked out, all we got to do is just fully mark out the lows and the highs of the range, right? And we can scale down into a smaller time frame. And what we had was this, and this is what I went over live on the Zoom, is coming into Asia, what we did is we started to see that the market started channeling downwards. And what we're seeing is that we have a little bit of a bearish buildup, right? So what you got to think is that there's a lot of people that are getting enticed to take these selling opportunities. They're seeing the market making like a wedge, and they're taught these basic Forex patterns. So what happens is they create an enticement. This enticement makes the weak-handed sellers come into the market. This makes the FOMO guys come in. This makes the people that have been watching this drop. They see this big drop. They get in, and they start making the market go down. They're hype, and then it goes against them. They get smacked. They get clapped, and then they have a bad day, right? But what we see is we see the buildup. We see the trap lining up. And then we see this enticement down, right? Now, notice what happens when it comes to this enticement down, right? It comes and hits our overall entry area, right? It hits our higher time frame entry area. Now, you can go ahead and snipe an entry off of the higher time frame entry area when all these things align, when you take the higher time frame and start correlating it down with the lower time frame, but you can also just be patient, right? So what did we do? We were just patient. We were patient with it. And what we did is we said we wanted to wait for a retracement. I really liked this 15-minute candle, right? We measured out our 15-minute candle. You could take an entry at the open, or you can take an entry at the 50%, the equilibrium. Stop loss was the same on both ideas. And then we had TPs targeting the open of that specific enticement candle up, because if we think about it, we have some relative equal highs here. We have some liquidity resting here, right? So what we see is price very aggressively, very fastly comes up, hits all these orders, collects them, takes them out. So we know that this is a big buy to sell movement. So we want to just take advantage of the movement as well. And from there, price comes, hits our optimal entry, hits our entry 1, entry 2. It took a little bit of time, but then eventually, boom, straight through TP for about a 1 to 3 to potentially a 1 to 5 on the NZD USD, which is a phenomenal trade. And then NZD CAD family, pretty much same thing, right? Literally the same setup. Let's go to the higher time frame really quick. Was the same thing, right? There was a correlation in the pairs. NZD, the New Zealand dollar, was really controlling the market. We had the fib. We had the higher time frame candle. Then once again, we had our range for our Asian session. We had the highs and the lows. And then the same thing once again, guys. You see this downward channeling. You see these downward moves. Then we have that enticement. We look for an opportunity off of that on the lower time frame, catch some snipes. And then we pretty much did the same thing with this one. Stops at the low. And then targeting this as well once again. And this gave us another trade with an amazing risk to reward ratio. And once again, we see price come up and then it smacked right through the TP. Also barely missed the stop, which is why we always put it right there at the low. And boom, 2 great, phenomenal trades. And then we got a bunch of happy campers cashing out in the Discord, right? But with that being said, family, this was just going to be a quick breakdown on the 2 trades. We made $5,500, and then we made thousands and thousands of dollars as a collective in student results in our Discord, right? When it comes down to getting started, family, check out the links in the bio. Get started, join the Discord, join the premium side of the Discord. There's a lot of value. We're doing a lot of different things. We have the whole unreleased curriculum as well, and we can't wait for you to be a part of it. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Let us know how you're enjoying the content, and we're going to keep cooking and making more of it.